Man, so many tools involved with creating sportswear products. Like right here, guys, we're in a sublimation factory that are making products for teams, apparel, merch, brands, anybody that's looking for sportswear. Sublimation printing is one of the key ingredients to getting these really bright colors and working with polyesters. So whether it's jerseys, leggings, almost any kind of product. And if you guys are watching this video right now, we're actually live. So that means that anything can happen. So just hang with us here as we go through this very first live stream inside of a factory called GenreSports. And as you guys can see back here, got a lot of workers working on a lot of products. This was one of the finished products that they just got done with. I'm wearing it right now. It's looking good. It feels good. And to really introduce this thing right here, I want to make sure that you guys are leaving a comment in the chat as we kind of take you through this factory tour. Leave a comment about anything that you see around. And if you're a new visitor to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notification bells to be alerted of future video drops. On this channel, our mission is to build brands that impact the world from the ground up. And we're going to be doing it through live streams like this and many other dedicated, really cool content for everybody out there that's starting an e-commerce brand. So let's jump into it and talk to the man, Jeff. This part right here is one of my favorite. What up, Jeff?
Hey,
man,
John, how are you? Hey, good to see you.
Dude, I think for me, like laser cutting is probably the sublimation area. This part of the process is one of my favorites to see.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun when we bought this machine.
Right.
Believe me, we had a lot of years hand cutting this at home.
Right, I saw the little tool right there.
Yeah, so we've done that for years. This is just a lot faster. It's more accurate. And basically what it does is it takes a picture of the product, you know, the sublimation panels down below. In the computer here, it will determine the cut lines. You have to approve it, and then you hit cut, and away it goes.
Wow, so any design that you guys put in this laser cutter will essentially just...
As long as it has the black stroke line around it. Basically, the laser is looking for the white areas and the non-white areas.
Very
and that
cool.
black stroke really helps determine an accurate cut line.
That's really
so we
cool.
want to have like a 2 millimeter wide black stroke around all the panels.
Man, this is
so I think it's almost done, and you'll see this advance forward here in a second.
Guys, this is like one of my favorite parts of the manufacturing process.
And here it goes, ready for the next. And yeah, you know, you'd never think a laser factory in a laser in a clothing factory. Never would have thought.
All right. No,
so I just need to make sure that it's a little bit flat.
So you got to just stretch out the fabric a little. So
you know, sometimes it doesn't cooperate all the way.
What if somebody put their finger in it? Will it take the finger off too?
No, it won't take the finger off, but it hurts. I've done it.
You test it?
You do not want to see that live. Yeah, it hurts a lot. So again, I would like take a picture.
Wow.
It pulled it up. I didn't want to cut the lines on the side of the fabric. That's pointless.
So if your finger was in there, it'd show that, and then it would trace around your hand too? Or?
Yeah, it would actually, yep. So you don't want to move it after it's taken the picture. So there, we're going to start cutting again.
Wow,
and then
really
we
cool.
just let it fall on the ground. The ground's clean.
Right.
And then after this process, we have to then take all these pieces and bundle it so that it's easy for sewing. You know, we don't want to just drop a bunch of material like this for the sewing operator and say, go at it, you know, so we want to get it nice and neat so that they can do it efficiently.
This is really cool. And then the prints themselves are super bright, like very vivid.
Yes, this is for a memorial shirt actually for Hawaii. This is the buyer supplied this art for us.
Wow. This is really cool.
And so, you know, I would say 20% of the people that I work with give me the art ready to go. The rest, we put it all together.
Nice, awesome. Tell us a little bit about how you started this thing, man. This is such a cool operation to see right here in Vegas. You don't see this often in terms of like this manufacturing capability, right?
Well, I grew up in clothing. My dad was a sales rep in Southern California for back in the 50s, I guess, and I went through college, and then he ended up having factories in Asia way back in the day. And we have still a family business up in Reno. So anyways, I grew up in it. I was in sales in Southern California after college. I kind of got tired of doing the sales, you know, sales repping. You got to drive a lot. It's a lot of work. So I talked to my brother and I said, hey, you know, I want to do a change here. What do you recommend? And he said, well, go to the factory in Mexico. It's losing a ton of money, and see if you could figure something out. And so I was early 20s in there. And I went to Mexico. It was just Maquiladora, right on the border. And after a couple years, it really turned it around and was doing great. And then we had a factory in Asia, and they wanted to send me there. And so I went there, and I ran that factory for about 15 years. Then the family didn't really want to have factories anymore. It's when you have a factory, you got to keep those things busy. And when you have a big factory, it's a lot of apparel you got to sell.
A lot more busy.
Otherwise, the workers are all looking, what's next? What's next? So it's not a good thing. So they wanted out of that. So, you know, I said, oh, I'll do it myself, you know, but that was a mistake. I didn't have the marketing behind me. You know, just a factory in Asia with no sales doesn't succeed. So anyways, the economy also tanked, and we had to close up shop. And so we decided to come back to the States. Me, wife, 5 kids. Broke. You know, I lost it all when we were doing that. I was trying to keep it alive, but anyways, didn't work. But so then we decided to come back to USA, and I liked Nevada. But Reno was a little small. I wanted to be closer to LA. I knew I'd eventually get back into the clothing sector. Southern Cal is too expensive for me. So my mom recommended, why not try Vegas? And I said, okay, yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea. So we moved here about 11, 12 years ago. And, you know, I had to start all over. I was broke. And so I started working for a screen printer, and at the same time I was buying used machines here and there out of Craigslist, driving to LA. This cutting table, me and my wife dismantled this in a factory in LA, drove it up in our minivan, and
that's really where you get the best deals, right?
Oh yeah,
Especially for stuff like this.
Yeah, they have a lot of good equipment there. So anyways, that's how it all started, and I just knew I wanted to make clothes again, and it's to be competitive in the States. It's like custom makes sense, you know. And so we gravitated towards the youth team sportswear, and that's pretty much
this is how it started.
80% of our business. So that's
really
how it kind of started, and we now have between 17 to 25 workers. It fluctuates a little bit.
That's awesome.
So that's how it is.
So this table right here, what we're seeing is already a printed fabric, right? So this is already printed. That right here is a sublimation table where it actually gets made, right?
Yes. So actually, this is the same print. So this is on paper.
This is a paper.
And that's the end result, and that is going to be turned into Hawaiian shirts.
All right. So this is a paper print that adheres to the fabric itself.
What happens in sublimation is the ink, the paper and the ink marries with the fabric through this drum. It's a drum full of let's take a look. So
very cool.
basically this drum right there is filled with oil, 400 degrees.
Wow.
And when the fabric and the paper and ink is all sandwiched together, and we're done with this roll now. The ink turns into a gas, and it actually re-dyes the fabric. It's not an ink sitting on top. It's literally we're re-dyeing that white fabric. So this is ready to go. I mean, we just send that straight to the laser, and you know, this is a hood panel for a hoodie, and away we go.
Wow! So
that
it's
is
a gas process.
It's a heating with pressure and time process, and the ink is a special ink, sublimation ink, and it turns into a gas.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's been around for a while, but it's really taken off because polyester, it only works on polyester. Some people do some nylons, but it's tricky. But but polyester is so good now. You know, 20 years
Yep.
ago, polyester was the pits,
Yeah.
right? Now it is.
It's pretty nice.
We all wear polyester all the time,
Yep.
so it's really taken off. And for youth sports, it's definitely the way to go.
Yep.
You know, all your workout wear is polyester, dry fit materials. So, anyways, it's a
Very
perfect.
cool.
It's a perfect process for team sportswear.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I love seeing the process of it actually come together.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't get a chance to see this, so we really appreciate you for bringing us inside.
Well, yep.
No, this is awesome, guys. If you guys are thinking about doing anything in sportswear, printing with sublimation, GenreSports is a way to go. We're going to be linking their information in the links down below. Mention From the Ground Up or FTGU, and you guys will get some cool free neck printing too, which you guys can see on every order. You guys will be able to get your custom neck printing on your sublimation order. And we're going to link that description in the contact below right after this video goes live. Or you guys can also contact genresports.com/contact, right? I think that's the website.
Yeah, there's a contact us page.
Contact us page, and just mention that code, and then it'll also be linked down below. So right here, this is the actual printer.
This is a sublimation printer, yep. So it is actually printing the yellow version of this hot dog Hawaiian shirt.
Really
this is a
cool.
funny story. It's,
Right.
it's a guy who has who sells hot dogs at Raider Stadium and other places. So the staff's going to wear it. Colorful, fun.
Yeah,
you know, with
very
sublimation, unlimited colors, prints. It never fades. It doesn't crack, peel. It's awesome.
And it's really cool because like when it comes to like obviously this art design is all tiled.
This
So
is, yeah.
you could essentially place it and then just sew it wherever, right? So every piece can be unique, or it could also be matched, right?
Yes, very perceptive. Yes, this method that we're using is we are actually printing a bunch of fabric and we're going to cut the panels out of it, kind of like a normal factory situation. So yes, this hot dog guy could be randomly placed.
Right.
Most of the stuff we do, we actually place the design engineered into the panel pieces by size.
Right.
That way, the logo here is always right here, no
Right.
matter what the size is.
And if the design wraps around, you could
then
wrap
it's
it around.
always wrapped around. So this we don't normally do actually, but for this it made sense,
Yeah.
and that's why we're doing it this way.
And I think that's also pretty important for people to know about sublimation, is that there's different ways to go about it. You could tile the design and just it'll randomly have to tile together, like the camo. This was all cut.
This was
yeah,
engineered.
cut.
Yeah, we
so
did
as you guys can see, it attaches from this side to this side, and that's all things that the factory, like GenreSports, has to calculate and put together, right?
in the artwork process.
In the artwork process. So
And-
that's
and
also
by,
key.
And by size too.
And by size, right.
So, you know, in sublimation cut and sew, which is what we do, there's designs, graphic designs like this, and there's patterns, you know. So this is like a basketball tank, right? So this has a sewing pattern where, you know, it has a front and a back panel, and it's stitched
I think
together.
we got one right
Yeah.
here. Yeah, we can see
Oh, yeah.
this.
And so, like here, actually, this is the same product, just different size.
And this is how you used to cut them, like this.
Yeah.
These little tools.
For years.
Yeah. Carpal tunnel, man.
You know, yeah.
Like that. And that's a skill on its own. We try to cut a lot of stuff like that. That was hard to do after a couple units.
And when they get dull, you got to replace the blade,
Yeah.
but that's how it goes. So, you know, basically, this is the front panel of a tank. Exactly what he's wearing. Here's the V of it and armholes, and here's the back. So we deal with sewing patterns a lot. So that is another step with the cut and sew, where, you know, if you want a polo shirt, you need a polo shirt pattern. If you have a jogger, you need a jogger pattern. By size, you got to make sure they fit. There's a lot of steps.
There's a lot, and then the fabric stretch to because does the fabric, you guys are able to also change up the fabric so it's not always this kind of jersey? Sometimes you'll change it to heavier or...
Actually, that fabric is different than this one. So that's a little bit lighter weight bird's eye. This is a heavier weight bird's eye.
That's really cool.
Everything we deal with is polyester, but there is a tremendous amount of variety. We have the hoodie fabric. We do crushed velvet, which is awesome. Hey, Ivan, get that crushed velvet rolled. I think there's a... Hey, do you know where the crushed velvet is?
We're going to go to some of the questions right now as well, guys.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on the live stream, make sure you guys leave your comment in the chat. We're going to get some examples here for you guys. In the meantime, we'll start to answer some of these things that are happening. Ice Rose is from South Africa. We got people from South Africa. Hartford, Connecticut. Shay's Born Again Fashion.
It's fine. I just
we got Northern Ireland, Camp 5. Shout outs to Camp 5. We got Is the Predator Taken? Okay, I've heard of it. Cool. We got a couple people. SB, Beth Panel, first time watching. And then there's people like Giovinco Hernandez that needs this kind of work for his activewear brand. So you guys know where you could contact them to start getting this type of work for your brand. So this example that we're going.
Oh yeah, I was just going to show the crushed velvet is really cool, where it gives a little bit of a shimmer and shine. It's really, we make blankets. I'll show you a finished product later. Yeah.
Oh, it's really cool. Okay. Yeah, I think one of my in-law had ordered a dog blanket.
Okay,
It was a picture of our dog.
I seen those online. I'm sure it wasn't velvet, which is
it wasn't.
So we do a bonding process. It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yep.
That was really cool.
Oops.
All right, perfect.
So you probably want to see some of the sewing part.
Let's go through some of the sewing. This is really cool. And honestly, this is a very, I've been into sublimation print shops, but a lot of the sublimation print shops they've only always done one thing, like either print on the fabric or they farm it out to somebody to sew it. But you have it all in-house.
Yeah, we go from graphics to packing. So everything is done right here. The team is very well cross-trained. So, Marcos can do that machine. He can do this other machine. He helps with sublimation. So we're really a cross-trained factory, which is great.
Right, a lot of people can jump into different roles. Very cool.
And, one thing that you may not know, but the viewers may not know is with sewing, there is a tremendous amount of variety of sewing machines. Here this is a single needle. We're doing this on some of our swimwear that we do, but that's just a single needle stitch.
Right.
That's popular in woven materials, swimwear, things like that. Right here is an overlock. This is more about the sublimation, where he's now joining a sleeve to the body.
Very cool.
And this is an overlock, 4-thread overlock machine. And this basically attaches all the panels, and it also cuts the edging off, so it's a nice clean finish on the sides.
That's pretty cool. So as it's sewing, it's cutting.
Yep, exactly.
It's that cut and sew.
there it is, exactly. Yep.
Cut and sew right
sure
there.
is.
In action. That's so cool, man.
So,
and are you also a sewer? You get in here every once in a while?
I did the first probably 1,000 pieces. Yeah.
How many times did you get your finger?
None. Thank goodness. I've seen it in many times in different factories. It is not good.
Right.
Yeah, these machines are industrial. It'll go right through the finger. Right. You've got to pay attention. These are not home machines. These are industrial 1 horsepower motors.
And then there's people actually here servicing them too.
Yeah, actually, yep.
Is that Joseph?
Called
what? What up, dude?
Good to see you.
He's like, yeah, there's a guy Joseph in here, and I was like, from ABC Sewing? That's the man. It's been a few years. Yeah, we did an event, so you're actually here servicing their machines too.
Definitely. I mean, the good thing about this is, when you offer a full line of different products,
right?
He has plenty of machines, and what you want to do is really set up a line specifically for certain projects, so you get that consistency.
That's pretty cool.
So that's what we're here doing today. I got the whole team here with me, so we're doing every separate set of line that they do. We want to dedicate X amount of machines, so you're not mixing and matching and getting inconsistent.
Most definitely. Yeah. This is really cool. We met in LA.
Yeah.
And you were like, I service a lot of factories. Yeah. And then you're here in Las Vegas. You gotta stop by our studio.
Definitely
that'd be really cool, man.
Very good to see
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Likewise. Very cool, man. No,
that's awesome. That's interesting. It is a small world.
It is.
Really
it is. And there's only so many people that are skilled at actually doing this type of service, right? You really have to know what you're doing.
And it's not necessarily a growing industry, I don't think.
Yeah.
So they've been around for 40 years, I think. So they're really skilled. So again, the variety of machines. This is a cover stitch. He's putting the binding onto these balaclavas that we're making.
Very cool.
So there's, when you go and buy a product off the shelf, guys, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's crazy.
Definitely.
And it is fun to be a part of it. It is. It's hard work. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, so, you know, machines break down, you know, maybe right when you need it, and you gotta scramble to figure it out.
So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme to do cut and sew.
No, I think there's a lot of easier ways to make money than apparel manufacturing, no matter what apparel manufacturing it is. It's tough. You know, if you're really interested to get into it, go and work for one for a while, right? I mean,
you have to learn it.
Get a taste of it, see if it's really for you.
Most definitely.
See if you got it in you, you know,
definitely.
before you make a massive investment and suddenly realize, oh, that's not as fun as I thought, or as easy as I thought.
Yeah,
you
you
know?
really have to be able to know what everybody's doing, find the right talent that could work, or train the right talent, right? You gotta do training, hiring.
So who do you think's going to do the training?
Right.
Usually it's the owner, the founder, whatever, you know, and so you better know what you're doing. Otherwise, you better get real lucky in hiring the perfect guy or woman to train everyone honestly and so forth. So there's a lot of parts to this.
It's a lot of work, guys, and if you've been watching the comments in any of my videos, there's some guy out there that's making millions with Bitcoin. That's not easy either. That's also not a get-rich-quick scheme. They're getting rich by scamming you, so don't believe those comments. And don't believe that cut and sew is easy either. But I mean, you guys make it look easy.
Well,
and I think with the experience of a team like this, like that's the reason why we're doing this live stream for you guys. So make sure you guys are leaving your questions, because we're here inside of a factory with a guy that's been in this industry for what, close to 40, 30, 35 years?
30 years. Like a good 30, yeah.
30 years.
Yep.
So anything in manufacturing, hiring, growing, scaling. He worked with huge factories before. He has this one now that's doing amazing work in the USA for sportswear and apparel brands. So this is your time to get questions answered from people like Jeff here, all right? And if you guys are enjoying this video, please share it after the live stream, and make sure you share it with somebody that needs to also know this information. All of the links that we have will be located in the description down below. And let's see if we got any questions pending. I used to work on those machines. Oh, so Giovanni Hernandez says, I used to work in these machines.
Well, if you're in Vegas, come on by. We need some help.
Yep. So if you're ready to work, do these guys have a website? Yes, they do. It's GenreSports.com, and it'll also be linked right down below. For free neck labels, mention FTGU or From the Ground Up. This is a question for you. How much does a sublimation machine cost?
It is like, how much does a car cost? You know, do you want the entry level, or do you want the Rolls Royce? You know, so anywhere from 20,000 to Ozzy and daughter, 20,000 to 100,000 just for that machine. You know, just the actual press, and that's a rotary press, so it's continuous. We also have the big jumbo flats.
The flat,
and we started with that. We gravitated to this. This is way better. The flats, though, is where you could buy a shirt, put it on, put a piece of paper on it, and then press it. What happens then is you get those crease marks. I think you've seen
a lot of print-on-demand shops.
A lot of that is that.
And that's why it comes out kind of crappy on some of those sweaters and stuff.
And that's because, you know, when you lay that garment flat, it's hard to get it perfectly flat. So when you lay that paper on it, you build a crease into it, and then it's not sublimating what's underneath here, and that's always white. So you get these big white patches all over. And for sports, they don't go for that. So that's why sports is always cut and sew. And that's why we do cut and sew. Honestly, if you're gonna do sublimation, in my opinion, it's only cut and sew. That's my opinion.
Most definitely, because I've seen it done where they try to do leggings too. With pre-made leggings, and that doesn't always come out right either.
I think the customer satisfaction is low a lot of times in that. I don't want to deal with that. No, this is all custom stuff. So yeah, sublimation is really an art when you start to put your art together too. And you have the art room over there, right? So can we see a little bit about how that works? While we're here, do you want me to show some of the machines just quickly?
Cool,
So, you know, cover stitches are very well used for the bottom hems, for the hems of the shirts, top stitching. This is a bar tack, which is used for the reinforcement areas. Well, here's one of our masks. You can't really see it very well, but right there's a little reinforcement. Jeans have it so that you don't rip pockets off, things like that.
And that's just that. That's
yeah,
the machine.
these specialty machines are really expensive. A lot of factories won't even have it because they're so expensive. Then back over here,
what about this one?
Ancient machine.
This one looks like it came from the 1900s.
mid 1900s. Yes. This is goes to show you well-maintained machines last a long time. You know what they say? Works like a sewing machine, or I don't know, something like that.
This is a tetanus special. I don't know if that's it.
This brand is still around. They still make that. That's for the blanket edges.
Wow, this is a tetanus 500, guys. Don't mess your finger up on this one.
This is the machine to do the patches around the machine. Really tight stitching.
Wow, that's that whole thing. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
same company.
Oh,
they are like the Rolls Royce. Wow. That little thing is like a car. Zigzag machine. This is the post bed, which is used for putting the patches on the hats.
Very cool. I love that.
Really, such a variety of machines, right? And the reason for this is so you can get the hat around it. You know, so you could work around it. You can't really maneuver a hat on a flat surface, so that's why you have that post.
That's awesome.
These are all the flat seams, which are great for yoga pants, compression gear, things like that. These are very specialized, very expensive, and not that popular. So I'm very lucky to have 5 of them.
This is crazy. Is this like a breathing tube for this, or?
It's a vacuum.
A vacuum tube.
Yep.
I was close.
So it sucks up the waste, and the waste comes through, around, and into the trash bin right there. Yeah.
Very cool. That is awesome. That looks like the Terminator of the machines.
Yeah. These are great.
Awesome,
yep.
Wow, you got a lot of different equipment here.
Yeah, and then just through here, if you want to do the tour. This is our
your stock room.
We have another 2 spaces where we have more machines actually and more fabric, but this is the fabric that we are actively using all the time. And so again, as you see, it's all white, you know, which is awesome because we don't have waste then, do we?
Right. I see a gray up there. Is that for a different project stuff?
That was, sample.
Project,
I was trying to do something else with that, but
this is really cool.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I love and there's all kinds of different white fabrics, different stretch, different applications. So when somebody wants to place an order or something, you ask them, like, what's the application you're using it for, and then you end up choosing
I mean, a question would be, someone calls up, hey, do you do team sports? And it's like, you bet. What sport? Right. Oh, okay. So what are you looking for? Oh, it's football. Okay. Well, I know what they're looking for and what fabric we use, and I steer them in that right direction.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know, if it's leggings, we steer them in there, and so forth.
And then this weight is like a motivational weight you get on here.
Yeah. You tapped it out just like I do. So, yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to see the graphic design area.
Okay. Yeah.
Because even when we were putting production for different products, it was always interesting to try to fit all of the artwork into certain patterns.
Yeah.
So like, it's really an art to try to find the certain angles depending on the shape of the product, right? So we had that basketball bag where we had to match different seams and stripes, and
if you're talking where you want to match this sleeve
to this,
perfect lines between this body and a sleeve, tricky.
It is.
Not fun.
It is.
You know?
It's a lot of work, but it's really cool to see the end product. Like once it's done and you figure out all the math.
Yeah.
Because then it's becomes a little bit better. Let's head on over.
And then we'll talk about this out here.
Do it.
So this is our
art room.
Printing. We try to keep it cooler. It's Vegas. We try to keep this more humid and cooler, just so these printers don't clog up on us and so forth.
I can feel it's a little bit more humid than dry in here. Very cool.
And then this is Ray, our graphics guy. He's working on our website right now. He's our jack of all trades. We also have a really great guy who's done graphics with us for years now, and he's off-site, big help.
So right here is like the, in terms of when somebody places an order with you, we're seeing this over here, right? This is what just got printed.
Yeah, so this is our RIP software where we take ready-to-print files, drag them over into the the RIP software and direct it to one of our printers.
Got it. So then this right here is showing different cuts.
So that was our initial sample. We did it that way, but now for the bulk order, we're doing it the non-engineered way.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And the customer agreed to that because it's such a random design. It doesn't matter.
That makes sense. And then when it's custom designed, it looks like this when it's getting printed out, right? So on the fabric, it looked more like that.
Yeah. So and again, remember this is a team sport. So this is it's in the mirror. So I think that's 34, and I think that's that's a tough one.
Light go.
Okay. So yep, I'll take your word for it. So this is a youth medium garment T-shirt. So this is the back. I could tell. Here's the front. 34, 34. And here's a random sleeve. So, when we're printing stuff, we want to make it tight because
you want to save the
save paper, save fabric, ink, save time for printing, you name it. So just keep in mind, every single player
has a different number and a different name.
Yeah. Wow. And likely a different size.
Right,
not everyone's a youth medium. So the graphic side of the business is very laborious, and that could easily become a bottleneck.
Most definitely. Because, I mean, you guys are thinking about if you're doing a custom team sport, you got number 44, 45, 46, you got Santos, you got all kinds of different names on it, right? And now this is how it all comes together. But they have to give you the art for each person or just the information, and you guys are able to do
They say, a lot of times what a customer will do is they'll go on Google, they'll search patriotic jerseys or something, and they'll see something they kind of like. They'll save that file, they'll email it to me saying, hey Jeff, we really like this, but change that and put the sleeves like this, and put stars above this, and change the colors. And they modify it about 60% of the way, right? But and so then we send them back a mock-up. Sometimes it goes back and forth a couple times. And then when they say, yep, it's good, then they give us the roster saying, Jeff, XL, number 2, etc. They give us the list, and we do all the sizing.
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
Yep.
This is a full service.
Yeah. Wow. And then we typically once it gets to that, we are, I say 2 weeks, a lot of times we're within the 1 week.
That makes sense.
But because getting to this stage is half the battle.
Right, yeah. Because then after this, it goes
after
to the
that, it kind of, after it's printed, you just kind of put it out in the factory, and it just goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, so if you guys are watching this right now, leave it in the comments. We're gonna take you guys. We're gonna start the Q&As in a few seconds.
These are some of the products that we have.
Variety of products. Okay.
This is just a little sampling of some of the stuff we've done over the.
This is cool.
This is kind of more recent stuff, I guess.
And you guys do a lot of eSports stuff too.
Yeah, we do. Yep, we do a lot of eSports. That's very artistically creative stuff, for sure.
That is amazing.
We have, let's see, is there any lacrosse up here? Here's a UCSD eSports, so that's for their college team. I don't know, dynamic gaming.
And then over here we got
some motocross stuff.
some more. I see that.
This is a reversible basketball, single layer reversible basketball.
That's pretty cool.
See, this is that flat seam I was telling you about. The flat seam machine. What's nice about it is you don't, it's not bulky at all.
Right.
It's literally like one layer of fabric throughout, so you don't feel this gathered material.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of a newer thing where we're doing a one layer reversible, so it's not so heavy.
Right.
Zip up hoodies.
All right, this hoodie.
Looks like there's a compression down there, that Blue Devils, some compression long sleeve.
Wow. Man, no, this is a lot of work, and that's one of the samples of the thing we just saw up there.
That's actually one of the first sampling of the hot dog Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, that sweater's pretty cool. And you even matched the thunder on that. It looks like the thunder's matching.
Oh yeah, it does. Yep.
That's crazy. That's nuts. That one must have been pretty fun.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Yeah, that is
coming together.
That's called a real. When the graphics guy sees that, they just have a heart attack.
That's how they feel. That
and then this football jersey right there, I'm going to pull that off the wall actually. I'm going to scoot around here.
Oh, so we are doing the Q&A right now, guys. Make sure you guys drop your questions as we show you guys a couple of products, but let's make sure that we got Terry from Maryland, Ray, North Star. They actually, somebody had a question about what is the best, let me see, I just saw it right here. It was a question about what is the, from Matt Odom, he says, what is the most popular cut and sew garment you manufacture?
Since we deal with in sports, what season? Like the next big season by far is football. And it's a big season, I think, for all cut and sew dye sublimators because tackle football is massive in America, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I actually brought this out just to kind of showcase one of ours. This is a one-layer reversible, so you get 2 jerseys in one. Really clean on the outside. You can see how clean that looks, right?
Yeah, super fresh.
And then, if the other team that shows up, if they're also blue,
you just flip it around.
then you just flip it around,
Genius.
and they're in white now. And still, it's not as clean because now you see some of the looper on the cover stitch, but still, it's really clean.
That makes sense. That's very cool.
You know, because you have to have stitches there. But even the side seam is like totally clean finish on both sides.
No,
you
most
see that?
Is. Dude, that's,
and that's
amazing
again
work.
just because I have a huge variety of sewing machines back there.
Right,
That
you
can
pull off a
do
lot of
these
different-
special things. Yeah.
Man. So what is the average, we have Terry Foster asking, what is the cost to print sublimation? And what's like the average product cost for like an order, like typical orders that people want to buy for a sports team, or
So
like, what can they range?
So I will say this, you know, most of my business I deal with through dealers. You know, one of my perfect customers would be a screen printing or an embroidery shop that sells to schools, to teams. They already have that clientele, but they don't want to have something like this to deal with, right? So I work with several like that, and that makes a really good relationship. So I sell to them at a wholesale level because they do a lot of business with me.
That makes sense.
And they know exactly what I need for art and this and that. So it's a little easier, so they get a break,
That
right?
makes sense.
Plus they do, you know, worthy amounts of money.
So if you guys are watching and have a screen print shop, or you're currently printing, this is a great service that you guys could also leverage to expand your product offering to other customers.
Yeah, and you know, made in USA for youth sports really makes sense. You know, because we're faster. You know, we do a lot of our orders within a 2-week. You know, and that's just really hard to do if it's coming from Asia and so forth. And you know, the price difference is pretty minimal. So it's like, come on, guys. Support America, right? You know, let's support USA manufacturing whenever you can.
Right.
But I don't think I answered this question. So
the cost.
what was it? Cost?
The cost, like an average order cost for.
So it really depends on the item. You know, a T-shirt, a tank top uses less fabric, less paper, less ink. You name it. It's a little bit easier to sew. So these retail. I'm giving retail pricing. My dealers. I believe that is like a $25 item, maybe something like that. A football jersey like this, retail, you know, to a coach, I believe is right in the $60 range. A hoodie is around $60.
Right.
And again, it depends on the quantity as well.
Makes sense.
If you're doing a couple pieces, you got to pay for all that art time. But if you have a couple 100 pieces, the price goes way down.
That makes
so
sense.
it really depends on quantity and product.
Oh, so then Gregory Harris is asking, where is he located? He's located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he could ship nationwide or international too? Or
Yeah, we do. All the eSports stuff, I'm shipping everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the eSports thing. So you also are like, you're involved
Yeah,
in
I'm a founding partner of esportsgear.com, and it started maybe 3 years ago. You know, eSports is coming up. It's still wild west in it. But a lot of these teams, whether they be small or college level, high school level, they're not sure where to get their gear and stuff, and it was just complicated. So we're making it a lot easier. They can go on, they can contact esportsgear.com, they can request a design, then we host a store for them, so their team could just order through them.
Cool.
It's easy, and we're hitting it up pretty good.
That's awesome.
Really fast service. Again, we're made in USA, so we're faster than the rest, just hands down.
That's amazing. There was one thing. There was one thing that you mentioned last time we met that I thought was pretty important, and this was really key advice that I think a lot of people really appreciate. You said that the best success that you've had, I mean, you've been in the industry for 30 years, so you've worked with some of the biggest brands, retail brands, designers, entrepreneurs. What are the things that set them apart? Like, what makes a successful brand and product line versus brands and product lines that start but don't take off?
Well, I'll give you, let's say at a startup level or something. You know,
So
the
thinking about-
Nikes, I don't know, they have their secrets that I don't even know about. But let's say a small scale, someone who wants to start a brand or something. I think a lot of people call me and they tend to overcomplicate it. Number one, it's like, you know, if you want to be the cheapest, if you want to be the best legging in the world, and you want to be better than Lululemon and Nike, and you want to be cheaper, and you want to buy 10 pieces, it's like, come on, you guys, let's get real about it. But for me, I think the graphic side with the sublimation makes you stand out, you know, versus the actual, you know, do you need 8 pockets on your legging? Not necessarily, but if you have a cool design on it, I think that makes a big difference. But I think successful people that I've seen start and succeed, they start simple and they expand, but they start. They start simply and they go from there. But if you're trying to create 15 different products and you don't launch until you have the perfect website and this and that, a lot of people just never start, you know? So go simple, start small, and then expand and go with the flow, figure it out.
And then one thing you mentioned is that you're either going to be a great designer.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
I think
there's like 3
yeah,
things
okay,
that I thought was
do
kind
you
of
want
cool.
me to say that?
Okay. I want you to expand on that.
I think in my world, sublimation, you know, you got to have one of 3 things. You either have to be awesome at marketing. You need to be able to get hundreds of thousands of people to visit your e-commerce site. You got to be able to do that because I don't know, industry average 1-2% will buy no matter what it is, maybe. So you got to get the traffic. That's one thing. So if you got that, you got something. Or you have to be awesome at graphics. You need to be able to create products that people just got to buy, you know, no matter what the price, they've got to wear it because it's so cool. So that means you're an awesome graphics person, you know Illustrator, you know Photoshop, something like that. You got a really creative edge. That's one of the 3 things that would be great. And the other thing, I guess, would just be money. To hire those people to do that for you, because you got to have those to make a dent in this world now, right? You know, some people call me and it's like, yeah, I got this idea, I want to start this, and it's like, well, show me what you got going on. You know, I'm interested. You got my attention, and then they just forward me like some Google image or something, and it's like, guys, that's not gonna make it. You know, and have you done this before? No. Oh. Okay. Do you know how to sell online? Are you a marketing expert? No. But my sister knows this, and it's like, you got to get those skills. Get those skills, and then let's talk again.
That makes sense. So that right there, guys, I think that's also something you see all the time at Magic too. Like you see it at any trade show. You'll see either the brand has, whoever founded it has a lot of money. They got some money to spend. They hire on the great designers and marketers. But if you don't have the money, you got to be a great marketer and a great designer, or partner with people that do, and then maybe try to find somebody to provide the capital. But those, I think, are 3 ingredients that apply to a lot of brands, regardless of whether it's sublimation or anything else. But
even with that, keep it simple.
Start simple.
Get those 3 qualities, and keep it simple and start.
Yep. most
And see
definitely.
what happens, you
That's
know. And
awesome, dude.
if you sell out of something, make more of it, and then introduce companion products and so forth.
Awesome. So somebody asked, what is another option besides sublimation, or is sublimation the only way to go when making activewear?
You know, with sublimation, it doesn't crack, peel. It's dry fit material, which is great. You know, when you're active, cotton gets sweaty. You know, it doesn't dry as fast. Dry fit poly basically it just dries really fast. So when you're sweating, it takes the moisture away from your body, spreads around a little bit, and it dissipates. And so that keeps you cool and dry. The best way to decorate dry fit polyester is definitely sublimation. And a lot of times when you have the stretchy fabrics, you know, if you screen print on that, you know, there is stretchable screen print, but not that stretchy. So when you start to stretch a compression item, it starts to crack and peel. So no, there is no better way. Sublimation's the best way.
Cool. And then if someone does their own prints, what print file should we save in?
A high-res JPEG is at the minimum. What we'd really like to see is actual Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator preferred.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, this was Jeff. This was an amazing live stream, man. Like, this was the very first time that we come in and we do a live Q&A like this inside of a factory. And you saw some of the logistics we're running. We're running Wi-Fi. We're running this like. Record that real quick. Record this setup.
Oh yeah. No,
like,
this is legit stuff. For
this
sure.
is like
yeah,
we're
this
literally
is
mobile.
dynamite.
We're mobile for you guys. We're bringing you into a factory in real time. There's a lot of great questions that you guys asked, and I hope that we were able to answer most of them. If there's anything in the follow-up that you'd like us to answer about sublimation, or maybe you're watching this on the replay, leave your comment because we will expand on this topic again in order to answer those questions in the very near future. Again, if you're a new visitor to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notification bells. And if you'd like to place an order with GenreSports, make sure that you guys check out the links on the website that's located right in the description down below. Mention From the Ground Up and get free neck printing on your orders. Again, he does amazing work for brands, for teams, for anybody that owns a print shop. You guys could start to offer these product lines, right? So people can show photos and samples. You might be able to send them, they can order some stuff and then
we do great long-term relationships with, like I said, the screen printers, the embroideries across the United States, but we're still not even scratching the surface. There's so much business out there. So I welcome any screen printer or embroidery shop that you're dealing with schools or teams. Give us a chance to be your sublimation supplier. Our website is good, but we are not website and marketing experts. We're experts back here in the sewing. So email us, contact us, and tell us what you need. We can make it.
Yep.
And made in USA, we're super fast. The price is better than you think. I don't lose business because of price. You'd be surprised. I don't. You know, with sports, it's all about speed. You know, the teams are formed last minute usually. There's always an add-on at the end of there's someone misspelled a name. So, you know, the kids got to play in jerseys. So we buy American. If it's not from us, buy American from somebody. You know, at least do that.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I love it, bro. I really love this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next live Q&A. Again, leave your questions in the comments if you're watching this on the replay so we can answer that in an upcoming Q&A. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.